How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Gonjiam Haunted Asylum. This is from 2018 and is directed by Jung Bum-Shik and stars Wi Ha-Joon, Ji-Ah and Park Sung-Hoon. Sorry if I mispronounced any of those names. But this is a South Korean found footage horror film based on a real-life haunted location, the Gonjiam Asylum. And this is a newer found footage movie. I mean, 2018, pretty new, and it's one that I had heard a fair bit of hype for. I was curious about it because, you know, you had the initial found footage boom and then they kind of died out. But every now and then you still hear of a new high-profile found footage movie, and the newer ones have tended to be pretty good. I think there's less cash grab people after it now, and in turn the people that make found footage still kind of just have a passion for it. But I put it on, and I was, curious why everyone was so hyped for this, and watching the first part of it, I was like, this is a good found footage movie. It's a pretty good one. But I was like, why was there such a crazy following? And then you get to that last act. And I'm like, okay, that's why people are going nuts over this movie. It goes pretty crazy at the end. And the thing is, I know there are some people that are found footage nerds that say you shouldn't show much of anything in your found footage movie so that it's more believable. And I get that, but I also feel you can only do that so many times before it gets tired. And I do like to see me some scary stuff. And oh boy, is there some scary stuff in here. You'll see something and you'll not quite know what it is, but you'll know it's messed up. And this is coming from me watching it at home that can go back and pause it and still think, wow, what is that? That's messed up. But there's so many scenes, like there's a memorable one in the tent where she sees something off in the distance and she's like looking around trying to find a way out and just looking back like, please tell me that thing didn't see me. And there's lots of jump scares, but like earned jump scares, because everyone hates it when it's just a joke or when it's cheap. But no. The jump scares in this movie means you're screwed because the ghost found you. And also, I won't say who, but there's a character in here that gets possessed, and this character just pulls one of the creepiest faces I've seen in a movie in a while, and it causes this other character to say, "Don't do that, stop doing that." And I'm like, yes, stop doing that. And it was just whenever they put that face back on screen, I'm like, oh, okay, that's disturbing. And also, the ghost hunting stuff is taken pretty seriously. There's things that I've legitimately seen from real-world ghost hunters. In particular, that camera that goes around the back of your neck and pops up here, and you in turn get the camera looking at your face and the camera looking at what you're seeing, the double GoPro, and that's a really effective angle. It captures a lot. It captures the emotion and what you're emoting to, but also it's kind of an unnerving angle, looking so close up into someone's face. It's pretty cool. You get other things like a drone and a 360 camera. The 360 is pretty fun, going in there and seeing everything all around you. But it's legitimate ghost tech and real detectors and stuff, and it is a show, and they are trying to produce it, and you hear the director in your ear. More on that later, but I just felt it was really fun to do a legitimate ghost show and get everything like how you see it in real life. But of course, in real life, a lot of those are pretty subdued. What if it went bonkers in the end? And this really does feel like a sort of South Korean Grave Encounters, but boy, did it get absolutely crazy. It's probably one of the top 10 found footage movies of all time, and for real, most of these things behind me are horror movies. I'm a horror movie junkie. I've seen so many, and to be honest, this movie gave me a thrill more than a lot of movies have recently. Not that I was, out of my mind scared or anything, but it was a little bit of a jolt, which is pretty rare. One of those movies that legitimately got to me a little bit. So I do want to say, yeah, there is the reason for the hype. That last act goes pretty hard. Now that being said, I do have a few minor gripes. I just said it was a top 10 found footage movie of all time, so these are minor stuff, but I do feel the need to mention them. One, they do fake camera lag and distortion. Of course, every found footage movie does that, but they do it realistically, and in turn, I legitimately thought my TV might have messed up on something. I was like, why did it lag like that? What's going on? Oh, that's built into the movie. It's supposed to do that. Secondly, the hospital is really dark and messy, and I love that atmosphere, but sometimes it leads to, what are they talking? Because, they'll notice something and they'll see something creepy, but I just didn't pick up on that because there's so much going on and it's so dark. There's something creepy amongst the trash. You're gonna have to point that out to me. There's too much trash on the floor. But the third thing, and this is kind of the biggest thing, is, there's no dub for this movie, and I mean, I'm not whining about there being no dub. I can read subtitles, it's fine, but the kids talk really fast. They're young, and, at the beginning where they're partying, and at the end where they get really scared, they have a tendency to talk really fast, and in turn the subtitles are not on screen long enough, and it really does kill the momentum when I have to rewind and pause. I just want to watch the movie straight through, and they were talking too fast for subtitles to be effective, so I do wish that this movie had a good dub, but whatever, it is what it is, and the next time around I won't be so picky on trying to read every little thing, and I can probably just enjoy it better. But I'm one of those people that if I don't read a line because it went by too fast, that really does bug me. But I know some people just don't care, so whatever. Anyway, though, let's go ahead and talk a bit about the plot in order to analyze this further. I don't want to do any major spoilers, but I want to take a moment, break some things down, and do a little bit of analysis. And I don't feel I have to go to the end in order to do that. But let's talk in a little bit more specifics. We open up with this horror channel called Horror Times, and there's recently been a streaming event that the creator of this channel heard made a ton of money, and he thinks with his current audience base, if he does a live stream, he has the potential to do that well himself, if not better. So he's, definitely in it for the money. He gets some of his old friends as well as getting some new people just to host this event, and it is a really good, interesting mix of people. People you know, people you don't know, people that take this super seriously, people that really don't, and varying levels of experience. There's one of the new girls that doesn't know too much about this world, and another guy will keep joking, we need to send her home, we need to kick her out. And I did like that gave you a little bit of a more mixed crew. One of the characters, Charlotte, is more of the presenter type. You know that she's here because she's a bigger name that can pull people in. And she'll actually speak English from time to time, which is kind of jarring when you're reading the subtitles and all of a sudden you understand something. And you're like, whoa, can I speak Korean now? Oh, no, she's talking in English. Okay. But the thing is, she's visited 3 or 4 of the 7 most haunted places in the world, so she's coming along on this trip to cross off another one, and that will be the Gonjiam Haunted Asylum, a real location in South Korea said to be the most haunted place in the country, and it's got some lore behind it. Basically, a bunch of the patients died under mysterious circumstances, and then the director disappeared. And there's all these rumors about maybe the director had intentionally killed the patients, and maybe she was murdered or something. But also, the director was known to love to play ping pong, and now in the hospital you hear a ping pong ball, but it's probably just water dripping, right? Well, you don't know. The crew's gonna go and investigate the asylum. They don't have permission, and that's always one of these things that bug me when they say that they're live streaming but they don't have permission to be somewhere. I'm like, he wants to get 1 million views, but doesn't think that any one of these 1 million people might tell someone they're in there? Apparently not. I guess people want the stream to go on. Whatever. But because the front of it, which is much closer to civilization, is all blocked off and barricaded, they have to sneak in through the back, through the woods. Fun little Blair Witch-esque sequence, but also makes you feel like you have to go out and really get to this place, and it's physically distant. They set up base camp in a little tent, which is pretty cool. And then they put cameras on all the people. And as I said earlier, real ghost hunting stuff. That's pretty cool. They'll go in and they'll be directed by, I think they called the director of this one Captain, which I thought was a pretty fun name. But he's in all their ears through these earpieces. And I love this element of the movie because you get to see the production side, and he'll be like, okay, you know that segment we talked about? I need you guys to go to the second floor and to try to investigate this room. And he'll be prompting people, like when he thinks the stream is a little low, he'll be like, hey, you, say something. Remember that, you know, because they have like pre-prepared, like, you know, histories of different places. It'll be like, hey, say your line now. And it really does get better when things start to get scarier. Like legitimately frightening stuff. And the captain's just there manning the live stream going, that's good, that's good. And then they'll want to leave and he's like, don't you dare leave. We need the viewers who don't want this to be all for nothing. And he's directly telling them to get back into the haunted house. And you don't know if this guy just flat out doesn't believe it or if he just doesn't care. But I do love the intensity of this character and the way he'll yell into their heads, and I do like that voice of trying to constantly make everything interesting. Of course, things will heat up. They'll do a little ritual, probably not the best idea. They'll also see this haunted doll that they saw in a photograph that was owned by one of the patients. And of course, if you try to leave, you have to go out through the Blair Witch Woods. That's probably not going to be too easy and will of course lead to some creepy moments later. I really don't want to try to break down the ending. I don't want to spoil it for you, but needless to say, crazy, bizarre, just in-your-face horror elements. And there's honestly so many times where I pause the movie just to go, wow, that was a good idea. How do you come up with that? Because there's so many fun sequences and fun ideas. And again, I wasn't scared out of my mind, but this is one of the few that I've really felt the tension lately. And boy, that third act goes pretty hard. And I totally see why everybody's talking about this movie. So yeah, this is a really good one. A found footage classic. I can definitely recommend this to found footage people, but also anyone that likes a good scary ghost movie. It's just, you know, if you can take some intensity, check this out, because this is one of the better movies. I mean, you know, yeah, not just top 10 found footage movies, but definitely a standout for the decade as a whole. It's a really good one of the better films I've seen in a while, and yeah, go check it out. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my found footage playlist. If you guys want to see me talk about things like Paranormal Activity, VHS, or Rec, you should be able to find stuff like that in there. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.